Yo. Hey, everybody.
Welcome.
And welcome back to the Bros, Brews, and the Basement podcast. It's always my favorite part.
I was looking at myself when I said it, too. I'm not looking at the
You
camera.
narcissist. No, I'm
Yeah.
just kidding. I mean,
look
it is
pretty good.
It's right there. We can't help it.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, hey, everybody. Welcome back. This is episode 15, I believe. It's been a hot minute,
It's
right?
been, I think it's been a month.
It's like a month or two, right?
weeks, something like that.
Yeah, because I think the playoffs had just started for hockey and basketball when we.
Right.
Yeah, like
And
it was
now-
literally the first series because I remember we were talking about how Boston smoked Florida in the first game,
Oh, yeah.
and look where we are
So
now.
much for that.
Yeah, we'll get into
And
that.
the Celtics
Yeah.
have finally reached the mountaintop with the team that's
That they've had for
they
for a while.
they're good enough now. Yeah, so thanks for coming back.
We
This is your
appreciate
first
it.
time here. Thank you for attending your first event. And if this is your last time here, we'll miss you. And if you've never been here, I'm probably not talking to you, so it's okay.
But yeah, if you don't know what we do here, we pretty much just talk about whatever we feel like talking about. Mostly
Yeah.
sports.
Sports,
Sometimes movies, shows,
wrestling.
games, whatever's going on in pop culture if we feel
Yeah.
like it's relevant to what we want to talk about. And we also do our beer of the week each week. So feel free to check out our other episodes if you're interested in seeing what kind of beers we've tried and our recommendations.
All right. Today we got Blue Point Summer Ale,
Yep.
picked out by Corey. We've both had it before.
Yep.
I very much like this beer. It is 87 degrees here today or something like that.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, right now it says 85, but high of 87. So.
Okay. So,
Pretty freaking hot.
what a great day for a summer beer.
Hell yeah.
I haven't had it in a while, but
Yeah, I think what did we do last time? Sam Summer, I believe, right? Or something like
we did Sam.
Yeah. These two are interchangeable for me. Like Sam's always my go-to, but I do
Yeah.
enjoy Blue Point and Montauk very much.
And this is a beer where you can have a few and you're not going to get blitzed.
Yeah.
So, we'll drink up. I got my hydration jug.
Hydration station. That's where I'm going.
Yeah. Oh,
Ah.
Warped Tour.
I miss that. I don't miss how hot it was though, and the sunburns and just sun poisoning for Steve. But
Well,
poor
listen,
bastard.
if you part your hair,
Yeah.
the one and only time I think he's done it.
Yeah. Oh man.
Don't part your hair when it's 90 degrees out and you're at Warped Tour. Okay.
Yeah.
So-
I'll just keep filling mine up as we go here.
I'm going to give a sip. Well, cheers.
Cheers,
Cheers.
my friend, and cheers,
Cheers
to
to
all of
you.
you watching / listening at home or wherever you may be. Oh yeah,
It's like a 9.5 for me. I love this beer.
yeah. I would give it a 9.
I love it. It's so light. It tastes great.
Oh yeah.
Blue Point, another local beer for us.
We're getting that rating right out of the way. 9s. 9.
Yeah, 9.5. I love this beer. I love it.
That's very good.
Summer ale.
Easy.
It's only, I think this is only 5%, though. I don't see it on the can. Oh,
yeah,
4.5.
4.5, yeah.
Even better. Right?
right? You could just
You
have
can
a
have
couple
a
of these
few.
without
You
having
don't
to
have
worry.
to worry about anything. Though, if you are going to drink,
drink responsibly.
and don't be Justin Timberlake.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. We definitely should talk about that. a
Just
little
got
bit.
arrested out in the Hamptons.
Yeah. What a
in
loser!
Suffolk County.
You're not above the law.
So I saw a whole lot of
Yeah,
comments from
it's
all,
gonna
the,
be May.
from all the rich people that live out there. So many people commenting like, oh, they shouldn't be happening in this little town. How about drinking and driving shouldn't happen anywhere? In this day and age where there's Uber, Lyft,
Yeah, like
everyone has
how
friends.
much money does he
there's
have? You
cab
telling me he can't
companies.
afford an Uber?
Right.
Right? Like, come on, man.
You can always go and get your car the next day.
Yeah.
If you're going to drink and your plan is to go out and have a few drinks, don't drive home. Please don't drive home, because then you get to meet me. I bring you to the hospital, and if it went bad enough, then you get to meet him.
Yep.
In the nursing home.
Yep. For as long as it takes for you to live your life.
But all jokes aside, people refer to DWIs, where no one gets hurt, as like victimless crimes. I don't think that's true, because it doesn't take much for a drunk driver to hurt somebody.
Absolutely.
And especially, like I said, in this day and age with Uber, Lyft, and all the other things that are going on, there are ways to get home that are not driving, and you really need to use those. This guy's worth like fucking $200 million. He can't pay for an $8 Uber, and I'm sure he didn't want to, be the celebrity who's getting driven home by some random fuck that Ubers in Sag Harbor. But
that's lame, though.
I mean, you don't have a car service?
Yeah,
this is the fucking Hamptons. There's celebrities out there, and if you're not a celebrity, you probably have a lot of money if you live out in Sag Harbor.
What is he afraid of?
There's got to be a car service somewhere.
That some Uber driver is just gonna like take him somewhere to try to murder him or rob him,
or
or
just
something?
like there's got to be a car service. There's so many people out there who have notoriety or are famous or have a lot of money that get driven around. Like fucking hedge fund billionaires live out there and shit.
I mean, it's the Hamptons. That's what it's known for, right? That's
There's
where all
a car
celebrities and
service
rich
somewhere.
people go to.
There's a car service somewhere if you don't want to Uber or Lyft. And for the regular Joe, Uber or Lyft, or call a fucking car service.
Let's raise our glasses one more time to Justin Timberlake, you loser. Drink responsibly. Call Uber, Lyft, whatever.
Did you see his mugshot?
No, I did not actually.
He looks pretty ripped in his mugshot.
I can believe it.
Eyes are glossed over. They're bloodshot.
Not a good look. Not a good look at all for good old JT.
No. So, please, don't drink and drive. Sorry for that tangent. 9's on the beer, though.
Yeah.
9. Love it.
9.
Not that 9.
But yeah.
Yeah, don't drink and drive, please. Especially summertime. Everyone likes to go out, have a couple
Everybody
drinks
wants
with their
to have
friends.
fun. Yeah.
Please carpool or Uber
Get
pool
a DD,
if that exists where you live.
Have a friend who is going to drive you that will not drink. Right.
But either way, cheers. Take an Uber. 9's. Not that 9.
Not that 9.
Do you want to do wrestling first? You want to talk about sports?
I guess we'll talk about the regular old sports first, like hockey and basketball.
I think we should get basketball out of the way first.
Yeah, just because it's already over. Yeah.
Celtics win. I believe that's 18 championships for them.
Yeah.
I think it had been like a decade since a Boston team has won a title, which is like their second longest drought or something.
Yeah,
like that.
the last time was when they had their big three of Garnett, Pearson, Allen.
I meant all Boston teams.
Oh,
okay.
okay.
So I think it's been 10 years since the Patriots last won a Super Bowl or something like that.
Oh,
I don't know if it was a decade. We would have to look it up. But either way, I heard it was the second longest drought.
Wow.
In Boston sports history. I have no clue if it's true.
Huh. I mean, that's pretty crazy. I remember, I think that was the last Boston Celtics team that won, though, right?
Was the big three.
Yeah, I remember watching that in Rhode Island at Anthony's way back.
Must have been fucking wild.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Jason and Jalen finally getting the job done, which we alluded to earlier on. Obviously, they've been playing together for a number of years now.
Yeah.
And they just, they couldn't get it done. They pretty much had the same team they've had the past couple of years. They made it 2 out of the past 3 years to the finals.
So I remember they lost to the Warriors.
Yep.
Was that 2 years ago?
I think it was.
Not counting this year, right?
Yeah,
so it's 2022.
Yeah, because then last year They got eliminated. What I think in the conference finals or something like that.
Right. Who did the Nuggets beat?
Oh God, I'm totally blanking. Right?
Me too. So
Was it the Hawks?
No.
No, the Hawks went pretty far though. I remember.
Okay.
I'm like blanking
So-
totally on what it was. Not the Bucks.
I lied.
Miami?
The Patriots last won in 2018.
Maybe it was Miami.
It was Miami.
Yeah, right. It had to be Miami.
Yeah. Patriots last won in 2018, so it's not 10 years for all Boston sports, but
Definitely for
I
the
think
Celtics
that would be
though.
that's at least isn't that 15? I feel like it's 2009 or 8 that the Celtics last won.
Yeah. No, that's right. That's around the time frame. Has to be.
So it's one of those things where it's like they were the clear and above favorite, I feel like, the whole year.
The Celtics, yeah.
Yeah.
This
They
is
were
made
they
his,
were
they
the
made
best
history,
team.
right? I think that was like their best.
They were the
record and
best
everything.
team all year. They were easily the best team in the playoffs. And I feel like I don't know that they were ever really challenged at all, like the whole playoffs.
They had I think they had an easier bracket than a lot of the other teams, at least in
So,
the East.
You look at the conference finals against the Pacers. I think the Pacers had to give every ounce that they had to beat the
Knicks. Yeah.
And then they got to the conference finals.
They were hurt.
blow game one.
Yeah, that was
They
insane.
totally and honestly, I think
one of the
I
biggest
said to
botches
Ricky,
in basketball.
once they blew game one, I thought the series was over. I thought it was over because it's like that was their chance to get a leg up. And then you add in Halliburton's injury, and then to me, it was a foregone conclusion. I did think the Mavs were going to put up a bit of a bigger fight, but Kyrie didn't play that well.
Yeah.
And
Overall, I don't think anybody really played that particularly well.
Luka, he had the points, but it wasn't super efficient. He did score, just not efficiently, and their role players didn't really show up too much.
Yeah,
but
that was one of the points I was going to make.
Drew Holiday, man.
The unsung hero always, I feel like.
What a just defensive genius. The guy's so good defensively. And then if you get points, which you're gonna get points at him and he's gonna score.
Yeah,
but it's like
it's not going to be a ton. It's not like star
so
quality,
good, but he's so good defensively that even if he didn't score, the fact that he can lock up the other team's guards by itself he's worth so much.
Yeah.
So the points on top of his all-star defensive player of the year caliber defense is just like, icing on the cake.
Yeah, I didn't watch too many of the games, so I can't really speak too much to the defense and stuff like that. But I did see a couple of like back and forths where the Mavericks would just turn the ball over. They would get stripped. They'd throw a forced pass. Luka would be, usually the catalyst in these particular situations I'm referring to, unfortunately.
Yeah.
One of my biggest issues with Luka, though, is like the constant nagging with the referees and stuff.
He just bitches and complains.
It's too much, though. It's like one of the things people talk about when they watch basketball. They can't stand how everybody's always throwing their arms up at the referees, like foul. Like,
but then he doesn't play
the
defense either.
And that's the thing.
He's getting torn up. Like there's people driving on him.
Yeah.
And it's almost like he's playing the Matador.
Or he just won't get back on defense, like flat out. So I watched the last game they played was it game 5 and it was the first quarter. They had like a couple of turnover exchanges, and then Luka was literally like sitting in the backcourt looking at the referee while the Celtics are fast breaking the other way, and I'm just
this is the fucking NBA.
I knew they were
gonna.
Yeah, I knew it was over though. Like at that point. Because if it's the first quarter and that's how you're going to be playing, you're already bitching and not getting back on defense. How can you win a championship?
Right.
That's not the championship mentality that you need to have.
And that's also why the Celtics were just frontline favorites, because they just, while they had series where it seemed like there were games that they didn't show up,
Yeah.
because I forgot all the teams that they played, to be honest. But I know they went. Didn't they go 7 against somebody? I got to look it up because I can't remember. But I know they had games where it's like, or series
they had a
that
couple
they
of
probably should have, or you would think they would have done better
yeah.
in a 7-game series. At the end of the day, they won. And then they just seemingly put it together. I feel like once Game 3 against the Pacers hit, they put it
Everything started
together,
clicking.
and then it's just like the Mavs, they just didn't have it.
Yeah, they didn't. And like you said before about like the role players, I think the role players were a big deal in like throughout the whole playoffs. A lot of those guys who like I don't even know who they really are were stepping up and, scoring, making defensive plays when Luka and Kyrie were not scoring. So it was,
Wait, they didn't go 7 against anybody.
I feel like the most they went was like 5.
They went 5. So
Yeah.
they went 5 against Miami. They went 5 against Cleveland.
Oh,
Fucking Cleveland.
Cleveland.
And then
yeah.
they swept.
Yeah, I forgot that was
They
even a
swept
series.
the Pacers, and then they went 5 against the Mavs. So that's crazy because the way they were talking,
complete domination.
the way like the pundits were talking, is that people didn't believe in the Celtics. They lost 3 games the entire playoffs, and people were like, "Nah, we don't believe in them."
Sleeping on
the
them.
Knicks, the Celtics need to fear the Knicks because they're the grinders.
Yeah, but the problem
even if
it's a war of attrition against Indiana.
If Brunson doesn't get hurt, right, and let's say the Knicks pull it off in Game 7 at home, the conference finals, I mean, at best, probably goes 5 against the Knicks. The Celtics win. Because the Knicks, like the Pacers, had to give it their fucking all to lose in 7 games.
Yeah.
As much as I would have loved for them to beat the Pacers,
that series took it out of both teams.
the Knicks gave it their all and lost their best player in Game 7. They gave it their all to lose in 7 games. So I don't think the Knicks are going to beat the Celtics. And there were so many people saying they don't trust the Celtics. The
Maybe
Celtics
if they
might
stayed
not
healthy
show up.
and
No way. But
even
that's
then,
part of the season, though.
Yeah, I know.
Can you
I know.
stay healthy?
Yep.
Like, if
especially
you
in
lose,
the playoffs.
if you lose because your players aren't there, then it's that's a factor. It can't be if we were healthy.
Yeah,
Can't say that.
I know, because when it comes down to it, that's
You
what
can
it
also
is.
say,
You're not there,
if
you're
I
not
didn't miss
healthy.
that shot.
Yeah, but what if I made it? That used to be Alan Pierre's big thing.
But what if I made it?
But what if I made it? Take
But
like
you didn't.
eight threes. Yeah. So congratulations to the Boston Celtics. A well-earned victory, a dominant year. I can't remember the stats now, but I do remember they definitely broke some records this year, as far as wins
I think you really got to look out for the repeat.
Yeah. I mean, it could very well happen.
If they bring the same team back next year, and they're gonna have Tatum, they're gonna have Brown, they're gonna have I believe Drew Holiday is under contract.
Yeah.
It's really,
I mean,
the role players that they probably won't be able to afford to keep.
yeah, I mean, you
Right, how do
would
they
hope they get
replace
to keep KP, right? You would hope they get to
Right.
keep Derek White, who turned into a beast these past
Yeah.
couple of years. I'm trying to think who else is there.
Bald men stand up. He wasn't always bald.
Yeah, Al Horford, right? Who's kind of aging out, but he's still
Right.
But he's found a way
he's
to
still
adapt
solid.
to keep playing and be relevant.
Okay,
and help
April
them
10th,
win.
Drew Holiday re-signed with the Celtics on a 4-year, $135 million extension.
Nice.
So they have Drew, they have Brown, they have Tatum.
I'm not too familiar with a lot of their other bench guys. Pritchard, I know.
Yeah, well, he honestly, even though he's hitting all those buzzer-beating half-court shots, if he's not under contract next year, he's someone that if he goes, you're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's like,
But the guys we just named, those are the
you keep those guys and you build around them with a solid bench, And I think the Celtics, they're always good. There's very few times where they're not good. Are they good enough to repeat? We're going to find out.
Yeah. That wraps up the basketball portion. So let's move on to hockey, which is still going on. I really thought that they were going to mirror each other.
Me
and
too.
That
Gentleman's sweep.
Yeah, and that Florida was going to win last night. I only tuned in for the third period because I fell asleep early.
Me too.
But the third period was dominated by Florida up until like the last 2 or 3 minutes when the goalie got pulled finally.
Yeah.
And it was a wild game. It was a very wild ride, fun, exciting. Too bad I was rooting for Florida. I still am. A lot of Ranger fans I know don't have that mentality, but for me, it'll make me feel a lot better about the Rangers
if you lose
losing
to the team that wins the cup.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm with that.
And not to mention, it would have been, if they did lose last night 4-1, it would have been nice knowing that the Rangers got more wins than Edmonton. But obviously, Edmonton made it for a reason, and they showcased that last night and the previous game.
Connor McDavid.
Yeah.
Is so good.
Yeah, I mean,
so good.
I saw. Did he break Gretzky's record or he tied him? I don't even know.
I don't know. There was one play where he fucking dangles through,
and then
like
he passed it to Corey Perry. Just bangs it in.
Crazy.
Yeah, I don't know what the record was or what the stat was for that, but I know it's like for a player's first Stanley Cup appearance, he has like the most points, or he tied for the most points, or something like that.
Yeah,
And it's no surprise. I mean, let's be honest. McDavid's clearly the best player in hockey right now, and probably will be for maybe his entire run in the league, for all we know.
Yeah, but this is really getting interesting here because they go back to Edmonton for Game 6, right?
Yep, they sure do. They gotta fly back, and
See,
I don't know.
The issue with that, if you're the Panthers, is if you don't win Game 6, then you have Game 7. Yes, it's at home, but Game 7, anything's possible, right?
Yeah.
Like a fucking bench player could just have a good game, and all of a sudden you lose the Stanley Cup, or you win the Stanley Cup if it's your guy.
Yeah.
But
I mean, Edmonton's they found a way. They found something to exploit for Bob finally after the tremendous 3-game start that he had, especially the first one being a shutout. I don't know. It's hard to deny that, but it would be insane to see history made coming back from a 3-0 deficit.
Yeah.
And having Connor McDavid probably break the record for most points in a debut in the Stanley Cup on top of it.
I'm just saying, if you're Florida, you want to win Game 6.
Yeah.
You don't want to go to a Game 7 because you're going to a Game 7 with no momentum.
Zero.
No momentum because you have lost 3 in a row.
Yeah, it's crazy seeing that, and then how they played in the third period. I'm like, I don't know what happened the first 2 periods, but the third period sure looked like the Florida team that I have come to know and been watching throughout the whole playoffs.
Yeah.
They were skating very fast, aggressively, had pretty much all the offensive zone time for almost the whole period.
Well, that was the same team that beat the Rangers 4 in a row.
That's who it looked like.
Rangers went up 2-0, and those 2 games that the Rangers won were like games that they were kind of lucky to win, where it's like Florida had 15 more shots than them. But
Game 4 was a big loss for the Rangers.
Right.
Because they could have went up 3-1.
Right.
And they didn't.
So, they need Game 6. If they don't get Game 6, I think they're in serious trouble for Game 7 with no momentum.
I mean, I totally agree with you. I'm rooting for Florida, but either ways, it's just been a fun ride to sit and watch.
I'm good with either team winning, in all honesty, because Connor McDavid and Draisaitl getting their cup.
Yeah.
Getting their cups would be cool. But also Florida Panthers,
never won a cup. I mean, granted they haven't been around as long.
They've been in the shadows of the Lightning the last decade or so, right? How many cups do the Lightning have in the last 10 years? 2? 3? I don't even know.
Yeah.
right?
Probably 3 or something like that. Yeah, and especially having lost last year to Vegas, I mean,
Right.
they definitely want the cup this year so badly. They want their
So-
first ever Stanley Cup.
So it'll be very interesting. But
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
playoff hockey's amazing.
It's a different animal. It really is. I love it. Can't get enough of it. I'm gonna be sad for the couple of months when hockey and basketball are both not going on.
Yeah, and we just have baseball going on until fucking
Yeah, not my
until football starts.
yeah not my thing. So for that time, I'll be playing a lot of video games and watching movies and shit.
Yeah. We have if you like soccer, there's the Euros, but those only go through to July.
Yeah, it's a little.
I don't know when they end. It's usually probably like July 13th or something, if I were to guess, around that time.
I mean, that helps. But I haven't paid
But that's
any
if you
attention to
watch,
it. Yeah, I
haven't seen anything either.
Yeah, I haven't paid any attention to it thus far. I actually didn't even realize it was going on. I totally forgot.
Me too.
So maybe I will tune into that at some point.
Yeah, I mean, they're usually good atmospheres. All the fans of their national teams really like to travel to watch the games, regardless of where it's being hosted.
I like that.
So that's always cool.
But while that lull happens, maybe I'll tune into wrestling.
What a segue.
Yeah, maybe I'll tune into wrestling because it's starting to heat up in the WWE. Got the big debut of the Wyatt Six after, God, I mean, how many? It feels like it's been brewing for years and years.
Which you said you believe Uncle Howdy is Bo Dallas.
Yeah. I mean, if you kind of look it up, there's plenty of articles that they give you the breakdown of who each of the members are.
Right.
And whatnot. They had a really cool, debut promo.
Yeah, I saw the video of their debut.
It was well done.
It was very well done, and I'm sure Bo Dallas is gonna be. Well, he's probably not even Bo Dallas anymore, right? He's Uncle Howdy.
Yeah, he's Uncle Howdy.
So I'm sure.
They killed Chad Gable.
I'm sure Uncle Howdy will be putting in his all into the character to do justice to Bray Wyatt. Because I imagine it means a lot to him.
Yeah, you gotta pay homage, and it seems like some of the characters that Bray Wyatt had created, in the Funhouse or whatever, are the ones that are there now. So it's going to be interesting how his legacy continues on and how kind of his storyline that he started will continue on. Eric Rowan's back in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I had pulled up. I mean, I think I have it pulled up on my thing here of who is who. So let's see. So it's Bo Dallas. It's Nikki Cross.
Okay.
It is Dexter Lumis. I don't know if you know
who that is.
So he was in WWE before.
Okay.
Before, I don't know if he had gotten hurt or if he went back down to NXT. He was kind of like a creepy serial killer, kind of character. And now he's in there, which he fits perfectly. Some guy named Joe Gacy, who I'm not familiar with. I don't know if he was an NXT person that they're just, bringing up and kind of packaging him with them. And then you have Eric Rowan.
See.
There was also a rumor that Alexa Bliss is going to be a part of it, but I don't know.
Has she been in a program with anybody or doing much? I haven't really seen.
She's been out.
She's been out.
Yeah, I want to say she was pregnant.
Okay.
But I'm not 100% sure since I haven't been following.
Yeah. Okay, but either way, we think she's been out. So if she returns,
she definitely hasn't been around.
If she returns with some kind of arc with that would be pretty cool. To connect that whole story. I do really like the factions.
I know, it's
and
so
I know
good.
The factions really returned once Triple H took over.
It's so important.
Factions are so necessary because it's that's what really helps build the superstars.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm talking superstars.
And it not even just to mention that it just helps make better storylines, right?
Well, think about Roman Reigns, right? Think about Roman Reigns 6 years ago, before he turned heel. Everyone was like, "Oh God, this guy,
Yeah, that's
beats
how I
the
felt.
Undertaker. Can't fucking stand him, right? Oh, the big dog. No one cared."
Yep.
Well, that's not true.
There were people that
There were
but not
plenty of
us.
people that cared, but like a whole lot of people were like, "We're fucking tired of this guy."
Yeah,
Like,
it kind
whatever.
of felt like John Cena 2.0.
He turns heel. He turns heel, I think, like during COVID or right before it, right? So he gets to really flesh out the character, not in front of fans, which
Yeah.
I think was important. I believe he said, like, that helped.
I'm sure.
And then you throw the whole storyline that they did behind it with Jimmy and Jay and Solo and Paul Heyman and The Rock coming
those
in
guys
at the end, and
to
it's
just help.
and they all had their own little storylines here and there throughout, but it was all for the figurehead of the group,
Yeah, the top
and
dog.
Roman, right? And the storyline seemed like it was like a 4-year storyline.
Oh yeah, it went on
Right?
for a very long
Cody
time.
twice at Mania. You know, he beat everybody.
Brock,
He beat
Right.
Brock, and he was winning.
literally everybody in
And
that
it was
span of time.
right. And it's just the way you can do storylines with factions. Like I think about when we were kids. Right, DX. Everyone knows DX. You're the Nation of Domination. Right. Who else was in there?
You had the Dudleys, the Hardys, edging the Brood.
And then you could put APA, right? Because
yeah.
the APA had people with them. It wasn't just Farouk and Bradshaw, even
Yeah.
though they were the main people.
Mhm.
Right to Censor.
Yep, right to
You
censor.
think of Right to Censor. They were a faction. Fucking hated them, but you were
Yeah,
supposed to
me
hate
too.
them.
Yep, and yeah, exactly.
Right? Like they came out and ruined everything with their censorship. Like I loved it. Looking back on it, I can really appreciate what they brought to wrestling.
Yeah.
Because they came out and everyone fucking hated them. They booed them like crazy. When you're a heel, that's what you want.
You had the Radicals, right? That
The
was like when
Radicals.
WCW and WWF were feuding.
Right. So you just had all these major factions, and then you look at all the people that came out of these factions. Most of them became stars, like stars in wrestling.
Yeah. I mean, if you talk about the modern day ones, you got the Shield, right? I mean, you have all these crazy.
The Shield was like the
Wyatts.
only faction from that time. And then the Wyatts came out. But it's like there were few, where now I feel like there's way more.
Oh, yeah. Especially, nowadays, because they've really embraced the modern day wrestling where you kind of need to package people together to kind of, bolster their status off of each other and build storylines. Evolution was always one of my favorites.
Evolution.
That was like, when we
Well,
were
think
really
about what
growing up.
Evolution did for Randy.
Yeah, I
right?
mean,
Randy wasn't
they
ready
made him
at
the man he
time.
is today.
Right. He wasn't ready to be on his own. They knew he would be. They wanted him to be the guy. He looked the part.
Yeah.
Third generation wrestler. We know that whole storyline. But he got to go up with Triple H,
Ric Flair, and Batista,
and Batista,
who flourished
who was
as
building
well.
at the time as well.
Yeah.
So they get to learn under, the two of them got to learn under, whoever. So I love that they're coming out as a faction, right? They're going to be led by Uncle Howdy.
I'm really excited
But
to
they're
see where
gonna
they
build
go.
the storylines with other people too, so it's not just Uncle Howdy and the Wyatt Six.
I wonder, where they're starting. Who are they going to be feuding with first? Like, obviously, they took out a bunch of people. I actually couldn't tell who was, in the pile with Eric Rowan after, he beat them with the hammer when
Yeah.
the camera was, panning around. And then, obviously, Chad Gable was beaten, showed bloodied, which you never see that anymore on TV, bleeding.
Well, I believe we're gonna see blood.
Yeah.
not frequently, not often, but they're not gonna.
But every
hide
once in a
from
while, yeah.
they're not gonna hide from it.
It's nice to, further just how far you can take it. You know what I mean?
And Triple H came out and said they're not they're not a G product anymore or a PG product, but they're not gonna like
Yeah, it's not like they're
lean
going
into
full-blown
full
R.
attitude era.
Yeah.
Where they had scantily clad women, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
Where they and like I don't know how many different dudes' asses I saw watching Raw as a fucking 10-year-old.
Val Venus.
Right, fucking Perry Saturn. Like so many of these guys just had to end up showing their ass on TV.
It's so funny.
Right, like that's not going to happen. But to have some blood here and there, to beef up the storylines a little bit, other than like, the standard stuff that they've been doing, they'll be able to keep their fan base that they have while kind of expanding a little bit. I also really like that they're letting WWE talent wrestle elsewhere. So they just announced that AJ Styles match in Japan.
For what, New Japan?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. See, I don't
don't
even
know
that.
I don't know if it was New Japan, but it was in
somewhere
Japan.
in Japan. That's awesome. I love that. And I mean, yeah. Speaking of that, they had that woman, Jordan Grace or whatever. She's the Impact Women's Champ wrestling. Over in WWE.
It's Pro Wrestling Noah.
Okay.
NOAH. Yeah. The Impact champion in WWE is Jordan Grace.
Dude, did you see
Fucking
her? Did you
ripped,
see her
by the
match,
way.
or like what happened during her match? Her earring got ripped out of her ear, and
Really?
it was in
Did it like
one
rip
of the-
her ear, or did it just get?
It was hard to tell because I only saw a picture of it. I didn't actually watch the match, but you could see
That's nasty.
the person she was wrestling. The earring was in her like pantyhose or like fishnet stockings or whatever
Yeah.
she had, like whatever she was wearing on her legs. And I was just like, oh, that's like one of my biggest fears about like when I had earrings, or if
Yeah.
I had ever gotten like gauges at being at like a show or something and just having somebody just rip it. Yeah.
Put their finger right through
Oh,
it.
yeah,
Yeesh.
just I hate
Yeesh.
that. But yeah, like I love the crossovers. I hope they keep doing stuff like that. It doesn't need to be super frequent or anything like that,
No.
but I just think it keeps the product
But
fresh.
it's also,
for both.
think about the time when Jericho went and did those 2 matches in Japan, and he was still with WWE at the time. So he does those 2 matches in Japan, and then it ends. His last thing that I think he's done in Japan since, unless he did something with AEW, and I don't know about it, but with a mask on, he ran out and attacked somebody on the entrance ramp, and then as he's walking away, he does a look back and then disappears. And I only remember that because he was talking about it on his podcast, and he said Vince called him and was like, "Why did you do that?" And he was like,
because I
just
wanted to.
leaving it open. and Vince was never for the cross promotion.
No, because he doesn't
So
want to give
that's
them
why-
any kind
That's
of fuel.
why he got
yeah.
so upset, because it's like, Vince is like, you're a WWE product, like you shouldn't be doing that. Meanwhile, Jericho's like, just trying to leave the door open just in case. Like, who knows?
I respect that though. I get
But
both
it's
sides
for
of
the
the argument. Yeah.
Fuck
But
Vince.
I do. Yeah, but I don't.
It's
I don't
for the
like it.
story.
Yeah, I don't
It's
like
for the
or
story.
agree with Vince's mindset throughout the years, and
Especially the
yeah,
all
especially
the fucking lawsuit shit.
yeah, the defecating on
Yeah, he's a
and
piece of shit.
treating women
So-
so
So
poorly.
the fact that he's gone is great.
Yeah, we've been
And
waiting for it for a
and
long
you
time.
knew he would. I thought he
You
was
piece of
gone.
shit.
I thought he was gone when he left WWE the first time. But the fact that he got kicked off of TKO's board
Yeah,
tells you he's gone. They're hoping
what a
he
glorious
just-
day.
They're just hoping he disappears, and whatever this lawsuit is against WWE disappears with him.
Yeah,
Hopefully the people that are suing him keep at it. I mean, sue him, win. That is fucking disgusting, terrible shit that was in that report.
just goes to show you, like, his character was not far from what he really was.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, he was a fucking asshole.
So, I hope I hope they're successful in their suit. And I hope he stays gone.
Me too.
You know,
I really
because the wrestling product's been a lot better. I haven't watched too much, but
Me either.
I follow, the shit that gets posted on social media. So,
Yeah, the last thing that I watched was the Crown Jewel event. I was upset that I missed the Crown. Was it Crown at the Castle or?
yeah,
The one that
Just like last week or
happened.
something?
Yeah, because again, a European one in Scotland or whatever, it was on at like 1 PM.
Yeah.
So I was working, of course. I feel like they
course.
always have those pay-per-views on my weekend to work, and like I'm not gonna come home and like watch it at that point because most of
No.
the time I already see all the spoilers, and unless I hear it was like an amazing match, I'm not gonna go back and watch it. Probably.
exactly.
So I haven't really been following, but like I said, I wanted to bring up about the Wyatt Six because the Wyatts they were a fun faction. Obviously, Bray Wyatt was one of the most
Mastermind.
charismatic people to come out
Yeah.
of the past decade in wrestling, and seeing his legacy continued by his brother is
Really cool.
It's exciting. So yeah, pumped for that.
If you want to go on to other wrestling legends, we could speak about Adam Copeland.
We sure can. We sure can.
So, the spot where he breaks both his legs. I think I think I had seen it before today, but Corey said to me before we started recording that he wanted to talk about this, so I watched it again. Quite possibly one of the worst spots I've ever seen.
Yeah, just flat out. Whoa.
Yeah, you're that bulb.
That bulb never goes on. Sorry, I mean, like, obviously you guys can't see what's happening, but I have like a flickering light that's past the camera here, and it literally just stopped and turned on fully for like the first time
In
and
a long
I can't
time.
tell you how
A
long.
very long
And
time.
it's just very strange. It makes me feel like something's gonna happen with Adam
Yeah.
Copeland now after we brought it up.
I was going to say you should check your plumbing since I came over.
Any pipes? Any pipes up there?
Yeah, there was a few week period. Well, not few week, but there was probably like 4 separate times where me and Corey were going to hang out, and he had plumbing issues
Yeah.
like the day of.
So it's just
So
a
the
running
fact that
joke.
that light just turned on, I think you have to check your plumbing.
I
very
got to
soon.
do a thorough investigation now. I did actually have to change the light right above us here earlier so that
Okay.
it would work.
Okay.
But
Something's
anyways,
going
getting
on
back
down
to
here.
I don't know, something. But anyways, getting back to Adam Copeland though, yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. It's got to be one of the worst spots ever, if not at least in the past, 10 years.
I mean,
what was the mindset? What were you thinking?
it's a double axe handle off the top of a cage.
It looked bad, and obviously the results were terrible.
So it didn't make any sense because the table breaks from a double axe handle, which is crazy. You're also jumping down 10 feet or maybe 12 feet to land directly on your feet.
I mean, what did you like? I'm not sure what the thought process
'Cause
was. Like,
it
has he
looks
never
like-
seen
it
any
looks
kind
like
of?
he comes down and he lands and then falls like backwards and sideways. Like if he wanted to nerf the landing and like if he leant forward and like hit his feet first and then splashed through the table. Like I know he's got spinal stenosis and other shit with his spine,
But
and
at that
his
point,
neck
just
and
don't.
all that.
It's like you said,
Don't
just don't
do
do
the
the spot. You know what I mean? Like what? I remember, me doing parkour, for a little bit and jumping from roof to roof, and one being like significantly higher, and like I had the wherewithal without ever doing it before that to know like, okay, you got to roll through, right? Like you can't take the brunt of that just with your legs straight up.
It just really makes you wonder, like, did he have a change of heart mid-flight?
Maybe he probably got scared. I mean, it happens.
He's 50 fucking years old. He doesn't need to be jumping off of a cage. Right? Like,
Nope.
at this point, if you're going to wrestle at 50,
I mean, there could have been so many other better ideas, right? Like, You like you said, you could have like caddy cornered it somehow and done something from like
Right, could
just the
have
top
could have
of
climbed the
turnbuckle.
cage and just fell backwards. If he really wanted a table involved, like he could have went through the table.
Or go like they used to do in like the TLC matches and set up a bunch of tables. That way it kind of pads your fall a little bit.
Right.
Right? Like that any of those things would have been better than what that was. It's just so unfortunate to see like him go out like that, and who knows if he's going to come back and wrestle again.
I mean, at this point,
it's just one of those things where wrestlers who had like a great exit, right? He had a great exit in WWE and all that,
Right.
got to do all these fun things, have one last hurrah, so to speak, and then they come back because they miss it. They miss the high and the limelight that
and
it gives them.
AEW probably offered him like
A ton of money.
wild money.
I'm sure. But to come back and to have the run that he had and to have it end like that, probably
This is his third major
painful.
injury since he's come back. Right, he returned. He does that match
But
with Randy Orton.
Yeah,
right?
didn't he like tear his tricep or something
like that? And he was out like 6 months, 8 months, whatever. Which, by the way, the fact that match is labeled the greatest match ever annoys me. That's a different topic. Like, it was a fine match, but again, I thought it was too long, and why? But I don't remember his other injury, but I know there was another injury.
Yeah.
But now you have 2 broken legs. Do we know what he broke? Because I'm interested in what bones he actually broke. So,
Yeah.
I just feel like at this point you got to be like, you know what? It's been real. If he wants to live out his AEW contract on just appearances, like basic spots here and there, like he could take a power bomb or like.
Meanwhile, Christian's killing it over there, from what I hear.
Well,
He knows what he's doing.
Christian,
Even at
he got so much better on the microphone from when he was younger, and he was great when he was younger, but he's better now.
Yeah, he is, and his wrestling style is something that will let him continue to
Right.
to
Well,
go.
that's also the thing is when you're
at a
in
high
your
level.
when you're in your 40s and 50s, unless your name is Jeff Hardy, you don't need to be doing all these crazy stunts.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the mindset was, like we've said multiple times already, but not good. But yeah, Christian's been killing it. I haven't been watching AEW too much, but I catch clips every now and again on YouTube since I follow them.
He fractured his tibia.
Tibula, right?
Tibia.
Not good.
Oh, and he had an Achilles tear a few years ago.
Okay.
So it's triceps, Achilles, and tibia. Achilles is a super serious injury.
Yeah.
I mean,
Not alone.
not like tearing your triceps is not.
But
But
that's
Achilles is way worse.
But that's movement, like
And
that's
now-
literally walking.
And bones heal, so it's not the worst. But still, it's like you're 50. At this point, I'm assuming he's made millions and millions of dollars, right? With contracts and merch sales and other side stuff that he's done. He's also, his wife was a professional wrestler too.
Sure.
She probably made good money. He has 2 daughters, I think. Just go home and be with your kids.
Yeah.
Like, what is the point of doing this and continuing to get hurt? Because you want to?
Apparently, he's a fool.
Great.
I don't know.
No, but, the match with Randy Orton when he tore his triceps, it was on like a pretty simple spot, right? From what I remember, like at some point they were like on top of a truck or some shit and did some spot on.
It was
top
a
of
really
the
cool
truck.
match, but it did go too long.
It was too long. It was a good match, but it was too long. But like that, so you tear your triceps in some just like a strange situation. Right? It's not like anything they did in that match was super crazy where you're like, why the fuck did you do that and now you're hurt? Right? So that shit's just going to happen. But this was literally like, are you trying to be 26 again?
He's trying to relive the glory days of TLC, maybe.
Right. But you know what? There's a reason that I always go back and watch TLC 2 from WrestleMania 17. Because that match is that match. They even if the 6 of them got together today.
I mean, there's no way they could recreate that magic.
Right, because that
especially
match,
at an advanced age.
that
I mean, you can't take those
That
bumps.
match is that match, so just leave that match alone.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to be doing double axe handles through tables off cages.
Yeah. I totally agree.
Like
I
you
mean,
said,
I couldn't
do
agree
a
more.
splash from the top from the turnbuckle.
That's what I had said. Just do a splash. I mean, it's still going to suck. Like, it's, but it won't be as bad as breaking your legs. But anyways,
you want to be healthy
yeah.
to spend time with your children.
Yeah.
I believe he has young children.
So, that's the Adam Copeland portion of this that I had planned on bringing up. But also, like I said, I haven't watched AEW too much, but I catch stuff here and there. Obviously, Sasha Banks, or whatever her name is over there.
I can't remember her name.
Something Monet.
That sounds right.
It's all about money. She's doing all right over there. I haven't been like super down with her whole thing, her gimmick now.
I just think it's more of an AEW issue than anything, where it's like they seem to struggle to carry storylines.
Yeah, that's my biggest problem with them. It's not like the wrestling ability and stuff like that. It is just the storylines and the way they like present all of them.
Yeah.
I just don't find it interesting. It doesn't catch me like WWE does.
And you know what? Storylines like this in AEW were fine when they first came out, because the WWE wasn't really doing much as way of storylines at that time. But now they just had a 5-year run, or however long it was, with the Bloodline. They have multiple factions.
Yeah. A lot of things have changed. The whole landscape has changed.
What I also really like is they're running people through the factions. Like, they'll have people in it, and when they think they're at a point where they can go solo, the faction turns on the person does a solo gig, new person comes in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like The Rock in the beginning was not the main guy of Nation of Domination.
Yeah, he was just a lackey. He was just a lackey.
He wasn't. But they probably felt like they had something, so they built him up, and then, he went on to do what he did. Right? Like, Farouk was one of the more main people in Nation of Domination.
And he had been in WWF at that point for a while.
So, like, AEW needs to figure something out. You can't just hang your hat on MJF the whole time.
And he just came back.
Right, and I know that.
Yeah.
And he
turned on Adam Cole.
Right, and he's great. He's always going to be great on the microphone, and his wrestling is good enough.
Yeah, he's gotten better, especially throughout his championship run. Former, championship run.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's just something about it where I lost interest in it. Maybe at some point something will spark a renewed interest, because they do have a lot of great talent. I've always been a big House of Black follower. I always liked...
I'm going to cut you off. I have to go use the bathroom.
Fair enough.
So can we cut?
Cut! Hey, guys, we invite you to join us. Nice. It's all good, dude. Don't worry about it. I have to pee also, but it's not like urgent.
Okay. I mean, if you want to go ahead. All right. Where did I cut you off?
I mean, I feel like we pretty much wrapped up the whole wrestling thing that we wanted to talk about anyways.
Yeah.
For the most part,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else to add.
Yeah, I don't really know what else I even really want to talk about.
No.
Unless we're going to talk about like what we've been watching or doing recently.
Let's see. Have I been watching anything?
Yeah, I remember last time you said you had binge watched like Dexter the whole way through, and obviously,
rewatched.
I don't know if we had talked about the fact that they're doing the prequel series now.
I'll be honest.
How much interest do you have?
Minimal. Minimal.
I had a feeling just based on your tone of voice.
Minimal. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird having somebody else be Dexter,
And it's like, why isn't the dad just that guy?
Yeah.
Why isn't he the dad? I believe he's still alive. That actor.
Yeah,
right?
I'm forgetting his name.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I should know. I used to remember his name. I should know it because he used to be in a bunch of movies.
He's been in a lot.
He's been in a lot of stuff. And now it's Christian Slater who's going to be playing Harry, if I'm not mistaken.
James Remar.
Yep.
Was Harry. Let's see.
Yep, he was in Too Fast, Too
right
Furious,
now?
I believe.
He's 70.
But yeah, like they must what they were like. They watched Mr. Robot and they were like, Christian Slater, let's get him. He's a great person for nowadays. He hasn't done anything else since then that is relevant. But
yeah, I have little interest right now. I don't understand why they want to do it. I mean, I get why, right? They think they're gonna make money. That's probably what New Blood was. One, they wanted to correct the ending because that first ending
and test
was
the waters
shit.
for how
the
market would be for Dexter.
If people
There's
are going
money
to come
to be
back for
made,
Dexter.
right?
But I prefer they had done something else.
Yeah.
Than just like a prequel. Like why couldn't we get Aster and Cody turning into serial killers themselves?
That would have been better, or even
Harrison.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, or even following
'Cause-
Harrison, and maybe he interacts with them somehow. Like
right,
they become a part of.
Because we get Harrison in New Blood, we don't get.
Write yourself
them.
a whole new story. You know what I mean? Like, I
Right.
think that would be interesting, but
Harrison's clearly fucked up. Why don't we get what goes on with him? Like he probably should be a serial killer. Based on New Blood.
Yeah,
like he just fucking killed his dad, so what? He's going to drive out of Iron Lake and be like, well, I'm going to buy a house here.
I'm going to live a normal life.
Right.
Hey. Psych.
I'm going to go down to Florida. Heard it's fun there.
Yeah. Bay Harbor Butcher, am I right?
I don't know. I'm not interested. I'm going to watch it, but I'm going to be super skeptical.
Yes, and critical probably.
Oh, very much.
No doubt. But House of the Dragon just came back also.
I didn't watch the first episode, did you?
I did. In case you couldn't tell by my reaction, I did watch it.
Is it that good?
I thought it was a good start. It's not going to blow your mind.
So I know the whole story of what they're telling already. So I think I said to you, I'm confused as to what this season's going to be. Because really, the end of season 1 with what's-her-name's kid dying on the dragon is the catalyst for a Targaryen civil war where they all just fucking die. Targaryens and dragons die in bunches. So how many more seasons can there be?
Yeah, probably. I mean, obviously, I don't know how long that's going to take. They basically kind of set everything up and talk about literally how many dragons there are and stuff like that in the episode. So it's like, we have more dragons. And then other people are like, we have more people and everything, all the resources and stuff. So I don't know. I would say like maybe it ends after 3 seasons. Like in an ideal world, depending on, because obviously I don't know based on the books, I've never read them or anything like that. I don't know how much stuff happens in there. How
it's a
dramatic
lot.
people, the deaths are for the characters, because I can only assume that a lot of people die, if not all of them. But yeah, maybe you get 4 seasons. But
I can't imagine any more than that. And honestly, I feel like 4 is a stretch.
yeah, because you'd have to imagine a lot of the characters will die this season
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah.
Dragons,
A lot
characters.
a lot of main characters, and that is people and non-people, should die. Because that's what happens. Is a lot of them die. Like, if you love a character,
Yeah.
prepare yourself.
Just don't get attached.
Yeah,
to anybody.
because they're going to die. It's just like the first 4 seasons of Game of Thrones, where just like every fucking character under the sun died. Like, I loved Robb Stark. To me, like,
Yeah,
that
was
that's
your boy. That's what
I
he said.
loved Robb Stark. That's a character that, if it was the showrunners writing the show, probably makes it to the end because he's such a great character.
Yep, but it was not meant to be.
No, it wasn't.
There is a bit of a so when we first started watching the episode, it's a bit jarring because of how much time has passed in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like it took me, Steve, and Jamie a couple of minutes, because the first season's, very long, to realize that like, oh, this is supposed to be the same character.
Right.
Right? Because at first we were like, is this a different person? Like once we realized.
It's
and then
picking
we were like,
up where it left off.
Yeah, like literally picking up like right where it
And
left
hell,
off.
it's been like what?
And it's
2
been
years?
I was gonna say it's been like 2 or 3 years. So like the actor who is playing this character looks significantly different. So we were
Is
just
it Rhaenyra?
no, it's Jacaerys.
Oh,
So he doesn't look
Okay.
he hardly looks like he did.
he probably looks a lot older.
And they made him look a lot like Kit Harington.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, obviously he goes to talk with the Starks, and he looks a lot like a Stark. So it was very confusing.
Yeah.
But the episode was great. I can't wait to see, where they go from there. House of the Dragon is pretty dope, Hopefully they don't make the same mistakes as Game of Thrones, but
Well, the good thing is the whole story that they're trying to tell
is
is
written. Yeah.
So that shouldn't happen, but they still have to make it
Yeah.
worthwhile.
Yeah. What were you going to say before that?
I'm going to make sure to watch the episode.
Oh, okay. By the way, I don't know if this is confirmed, but I saw earlier that Rangers put Barclay Goodrow on waivers.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
did that yesterday.
Bummer.
Great player.
Great
but
grinder. Yeah.
He's probably going to want more money than they're willing to give him.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Or is he still under contract?
That is bummer.
Goodrow contract. Let's see. It's 31. Oh. So he's under contract until 2027. He has a cap hit of $3,600,000.
They're probably like, yeah, he's not worth that money. Although he had a great playoff run, but other than that, like the whole year, he hardly scored.
Yeah, it's like Brassard.
We should get Broussard back.
No. I think he's retired.
No.
But anyway, do you have anything else?
That's pretty much all I got, I think, for this episode.
All right.
It was predominantly a sports one, but yeah, followed up by a little bit of film.
Yeah. Well, thank you for listening. As always, you can find us YouTube, Spotify.
Pretty much anywhere podcasts are available.
Your podcast can be found, and please take a listen and give us some comments.
Yeah, let us know what you want
regarding
us to talk
anything
about, or any of the things that we already discussed. Give us your opinions on sports and House of the Dragon.
Yes. And we'll see you next time.
Y'all already know, but we out.
We out. Cheers.
Mine's empty. My empty cup will never fill another. We came as Romans. R.I.P. Kyle. So many emotions right now.
Have a good day.
Bye.